Good morning, Year 10. So the second video about resistors in a parallel circuit is on the way, but I'm afraid to say that we want to do some sort of PPE after the Easter break. Now we're still not sure how it's going to work logistically, but we still want to do some sort of assessment to figure out where you're all at in terms of your learning of physics. So our task for this week are all based around revision. Okay, the topics that could come up in your PPE are energy transfers, energy resources, the first parts of circuits, the electricity topic, forces in motion, the properties of waves, and electromagnetic waves. Now your teacher is going to set a variety of different activities, all based around some kind of summary activity or a testing yourself, some kind of activity that will help you prepare for these PPEs. Okay, as well as that, you should be doing your own revision. Making mind maps, making flashcards, doing BBC bite-sized quizzes. All the stuff that you would normally be doing in the lead up to a PPE. Now, one of my favourite ways of revising are word wheels. Now, Miss Barnes has done lots and lots of examples of these, so if you're in Miss Barnes' class, you know exactly what's coming. Not everybody has done lots, some have only done one or two, but they're brilliant. So I thought it would be helpful, I hope it's helpful, if we do an example. Now my example is based on this question. A rocket is moving through space at a steady velocity. What can you say about its motion and the forces acting on it? The first thing I would do when I look at this question is think, okay, what's this topic about? I think, what is the detail? Where does this topic sit in my GCSE physics? Now, if you said in your head it was motion and forces, you were right. It's even in the question, motion and forces. But the detail is Newton's first law. Now, in your exam, it's unlikely that you'll be outright asked, write down what Newton's first law is. It will ask you in some kind of context, like a rocket. So, I want you to pause the video and see if you can write down a definition or something about Newton's first law. Okay, Newton's first law is all about acceleration. Okay, there's lots and lots of different ways to define what Newton's first law is. Okay, I want you to go research a really good definition that you can remember. You can find it on BBC Bite Size, you can find it in your exercise books or your revision guides. Newton's first law is all about acceleration. There will be no acceleration if there's no resultant force. You will only have acceleration if there is a resultant force. When you add up all the forces acting on this rocket, and they add up to 0, there'll be no acceleration. Okay, and that's probably what's happening. Steady velocity, the velocity is not changing, it's constant. Therefore, the forces acting on it must be balanced. There must be a 0 resultant force. Okay, so I can say it's motion, it's all about that velocity not changing, constant velocity, so its acceleration is 0. And the forces acting on it, therefore, also have to be 0. Okay, all those forces adding together will sum to 0. There still might be some thrust and some sort of gravity effect here, maybe from space. And in this little simulation, we're not actually going through space, we're going through clouds, so there might be air resistance acting on it. Okay, but when we add them all up, it should equal 0 because it's going at steady velocity. Now, it's difficult to just write that down. It's difficult to answer that in one big paragraph as a go. Okay, so giving yourself a little structure, like a word wheel, can be really helpful. Now, this is my little word wheel. We've got rocket, velocity, constant, resultant force, acceleration. You can use this as a little guide to try and help structuring your answer. You can start at any one of these words, and it can help you write down everything that you need to do in terms of the answer. Now, this might be a good point, if you know how to go about answering this question, to pause, to write down your answer, and then you can compare it to mine. This is my answer. The rocket has a velocity that is not changing, it is constant. That means that both its speed and the direction it is travelling are not changing. Newton's first law says that if the resultant force on an object is 0, it will have no acceleration. Therefore, the resultant force on the rocket must be 0 as it is travelling at a constant velocity. So I've highlighted the different words that are in my word wheel. I've got everything that I need to. There is one last piece of information that I could add to this answer. One last piece of information that I could add to that answer to make it even better. I wonder if you can think about what that might be. What I didn't include was the important property of velocity. Okay? If you didn't think of the word vector, you need to go out, you need to go online and you need to find out all the different vector quantities you can find and all the different scalar quantities you can find. But that would be the only way I could really improve this answer, is talk about the fact that velocity is a vector, because it has both a direction and a size and a magnitude. Okay? So your teachers might set you a word wheel, they might set you something different, but this is one way that you could use to help you revise some topic. Now, in other news, to go along with my little YouTube videos, just to keep my spirits up, I've started to do some art. Now my tutor group, some of my tutees, love drawing, love painting, and I thought that might be a nice way to keep me a little bit less stressed. So along with my videos, I'm trying to draw a picture once a day. This is my first attempt. Not very good, maybe. Okay, but there's me, self-portrait, there's my pink tie, my blue shirt, my ginger beard, okay, my big shoes, my incredibly short legs, it looks like, and my rubbishy hands. I think the hands are the weakest part of my drawing. But that's my first attempt at a picture. There will be more to come. I hope you're having a good start to your week. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.